Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More. I was going to talk about a crazy story that's very close to me that some of you may have heard about some families being forced to move because the town is bulldozing their houses. And it sounds a bit dramatic, and it is, but there's a reason they're doing it. But what really got me interested in this story was there was some homeowners doing an interview saying, well, they're selling the house to the town, but they can no longer afford to live in Colorado, so they're moving to a different state. Well, I wanted to see how much the town is actually paying for those houses compared to what they might be worth. And I found some very interesting things that were pretty surprising to me as far as how much the town actually paid for these houses. So here's the article: Families forced to move after learning homes were built on retention pond. So the town of Johnstown was forced to buy the homes to tear them down so a new retention pond could be built to stop flooding. So basically the homes have been there about 10 years, and last year we had massive rains in the spring, just huge amounts of rains here in Colorado. There's flooding all over, and these houses got some water in their basement. Turns out there's supposed to be a retention pond there, but the builder built houses where the retention pond was to make more money, sell more lots. If they only had their basements flood once in 10 years, I mean, me personally, maybe you don't need that retention pond, but that's just my side point there, because I had tons of properties with water in their basements that never had water in their basements before and were not supposed to be in retention ponds. But anyway, maybe it's needed, maybe not, but that's another discussion. So the builder filled in the pond and built homes on it without telling the buyers. After the flood, the town of Johnstown decided they had no other choice but to buy 4 homes back, bulldoze the land, and build the retention ponds. So one lady was saying she sold everything from the house because it's going to be bulldozed. So, no big deal there. And you can see their view looking out the backyard to open space. So it took just a tiny bit of research, but I was able to find out where these houses are. So they never listed the addresses anywhere, but they did list one of the owners' names, and I could look up through the assessor's records and see exactly where that property was. And then I also was able to confirm that a couple of the houses had already been bought by Johnstown, which showed us that yes, we're in the correct spot. So here's Johnstown, Colorado right here. This is I-25. Loveland, Fort Collins is up here. Where I'm at in Greeley is right here. And so it's very close to us. We've bought plenty of properties in Johnstown, and I've sold plenty of houses there before. But this is the Sandra Court right here. And these are the properties that were supposed to be in a retention pond, which is, I mean, that'd be a big retention pond, but I guess, hey, maybe that's where it's supposed to be. And then we can also kind of see what these look like if we go to Google Maps. Okay, so here's Sandra Court right here. And if we scroll down here, it is... go a little farther. I think that's one of the houses. That's one of the houses. That's one of them. And maybe this one here, right here as well. So they're nice houses. Those have some big garages. They back to open space, which is nice. What was odd to me is, maybe not, it feels like it's sitting up a little higher than the area behind them, so that seemed slightly odd as to why they'd have a retention pond, but maybe they need one again. I am not a water drainage expert. So the houses are decent, they're nice, and houses in this neighborhood tend to sell $500,000, maybe $600,000 for the really nice ones. Colorado's pretty expensive. Johnstown is actually one of the more expensive areas in northern Colorado. If we were to go to Greeley, these would probably be 500 max, maybe even a little bit less, depending on the neighborhood you're in and the area you're in. Fort Collins, they're a little more expensive, but there's plenty of cheaper places to buy than Johnstown. But again, I'm not saying people shouldn't be mad that they are forced to move from their house they bought. But just going off the discussion about them having to move to another state, let's see what they actually got for these houses. All right, we can go Should we go to Zillow or Public Records first? Maybe we'll go to Zillow. So here's one of those. Again, which one was that? Was it this one right here? There we go. Sold for $840,000 on 8/29/24. I don't know if the city wants to pay me $200,000, $300,000 more than my house is worth. I would probably be okay with it. I could probably find another place to live in Colorado if I really wanted to. On top of that, they got to sell a bunch of stuff inside the house, fixtures and different things, if they wanted to, which got them more money as well. So again, it sucks. It's not a fun situation, but I'm not sure it's the horrible, awful situation they made it out to be. And what's interesting too is we can see the Zestimate. This is what Zillow says a house might be worth. And I've talked about this before in different videos. It's by no means always accurate, but it can give us an idea of trends and what's happening in the past. And so you can see here, a lot of these people bought these houses 10 years ago and paid under $400,000 for them, and had some ups and downs, increases here. And then Zillow's actually showing Johnstown decreasing a little bit, but they're showing that as we're 643 at one point, which seems high to me, but maybe around 600,000. And then when it sells, the estimate shoots up to try and get close to what that sales price is, which is kind of tricky. And one real fault of this estimate is they don't know that this isn't like a fair market sale or a real price. So they try and shoot this value up to match it, and that might actually shoot the values of some of the neighborhood, at least on this estimate, whereas in real life, this is not a real value. It's the town paying so much more than they should. I don't know why they did that. If they felt bad, who knows? But look at that difference right there. Crazy amount. And if we go to, let's see here. We go back. Oh. I went back too far. We can go to the map down here a little bit. Here we go. I'm trying to use control. Seems weird to have to use control. All right, so here, is that house, this one, and this one, I think we're all scheduled to be bulldozed. And we might drive by there and see what it looks like here in the future too, what they end up doing. Is that the wrong map I'm looking for? Why isn't it? Oh, here we go. This is what we want to look at, neighborhood. So there you can see, this is this estimate for other properties, 550. Why is that one 335? I'm not sure. 561, 480, 552, 487, 568, and then you've got 640. This one hasn't sold yet. 725, 809. A bit of outliers there on values, and this one actually sold for 725. If we click on it, maybe that one sold for 725, and I would have to scroll all the way down again. We'll get there. This one did not sell yet, so I'm not sure what that one sold for. And then this one, last time I checked, it had not sold yet. Oh, it did sell, so they've got it updated too. It sold for 809. So some pretty expensive houses that they're having to tear down and build a retention pond out of. I wonder if they're going to try and go after the builder at all, or have any recourse at all for that side of it. Maybe, maybe not. Sucks that you have to move and have your house torn down, but at the same time, it doesn't suck as much when you get an extra $200,000 to do it. And even if it's an extra $100,000, this shows, you know, there's estimate there. Let's see how much this one increased. Oh yeah, going up significantly as well from that one. So weird situation, kind of strange. I've never seen it happen before, but at the same time, you know, when towns buy properties, do eminent domain, which is where they can actually forcibly take a property from someone, they don't just take it and give them nothing. They do have to pay them for it, pay fair market value. And if they would have said, oh, we're going to pay you $400,000 or something like that, it's a pain, but you can take them to court or challenge that and be like, hey, no, we want fair market value. That's what you have to pay. And a judge can decide, what fair market value is and if the town is being fair or not. So obviously it's never fun to go to court, go through all of that, but there's different processes and different things for eminent domain. And this seems like, I don't know, an interesting situation where they've been here 10 years. From what it sounds like, only had one problem. It's like, do you really need it? I don't know. All right, so we might follow up on this. We might drive over there at some point, see if they start tearing down the houses and see what it looks like after they're done as well, and see if do they really put in a retention pond? I would think they would, but, the government can do silly things sometimes. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back with more videos of my own properties, flips, rentals, businesses, all of that coming up soon.